Hey guys, Randy Potato here with the hero guide for the Jester. We'll discuss their unique skills, hero paths and trinkets, and the different builds you can use with this character, and in what types of parties and scenarios they will thrive. If you enjoy the video, don't forget to subscribe. I post new content every day. The Jester boasts the best single target stress heal in the game, featuring a diverse set of buffs, debuffs, bleeds, and combo generation along with a strong single target nuke. Among the most versatile heroes in the game, his kit can be overwhelming at times to digest and master. Let's start with a path overview. Virtuoso gives the Jester 20% max HP, plus 3 speed, and a 50% chance to give each ally 100% resistance to stress at turn start. In exchange, he loses 20% resistance to dots. Soloist does an additional 20% damage, 33% higher bleed application, plus 10% crit to his 2 bleed skills, in exchange for losing 20% max HP and 3 speed. Intermezzo Jester applies a 2-point bleed to any target of one of his song skills, whether they be ally or enemy. Inspiring Tune now comes with a 20% stress resist buff, and Echoing March now applies a 2-point bleed every time it moves an enemy. Battle Ballad and Play Out have a 10% chance of applying crit, 20% chance of applying dodge plus, 33% chance of applying regular block, and 35% chance of applying strength. Now, on to skills. Razor's Wit is a basic attack usable from the back 3 to the back 3, does 3 to 6 damage, 4 to 7 on upgrade, moves you forward 1, and applies a combo token. On upgrade, you also get a dodge token. Roughly half of Jester's skills are mobile skills, so whether or not you equip this attack depends on whether you're playing mobile Jester as opposed to buffbot Jester or bleed Jester. The skill is quite remarkable early game in that it applies a combo token as well as damage unmastered. If you have a team with a lot of combo payoffs, such as Leper or Grave Robber, this is practically a must equip, at least until you obtain other combo generation. Being able to move forward is also great at enabling a few of your own skills, as well as skills of your allies with a mobile team. The dodge token generation is nice, but the upgrade is still relatively low impact and will generally be among the last skills you want to master. This does do slightly more damage with Soloist, but is relatively weaker on that path and unaffected by Jester's other paths. Fade to Black is a front 3 to front 3 rank attack that does 3 to 6 damage, 4 to 7 on upgrade, moves you backwards, and applies a blind token to the target. You also get combo on upgrade. A complementary move to Razor's Wit on a mobile Jester, this ability is much stronger in that it applies a blind token to the enemy of your choice, and a much more powerful upgrade, giving you combo generation as well. Similar to Wit, it's only barely affected by the Soloist path and irrelevant among others. I consider this a staple on any Jester build except rank 4 buff bot and a priority upgrade. The only real downside is against a lot of bosses, their big nukes completely ignore blind, so sometimes you take this off your bar in the endgame. But still, the utility of doing damage, blind, and combo in a single move makes this a staple Jester skill. Slice Off is a bleed attack usable from ranks 2 or 3 to ranks 2 to 3, doing 3 to 6 damage as well as applying a 3-point bleed. On upgrade, this also applies a Vaughn token. This does more cumulative damage than the previous 2 attacks with the dot application, although I find the positional requirements quite restrictive. It's boosted by Soloist and not affected by his other paths. I really only find a use for this skill in 2 scenarios. If you're running Bleed Jester, this is an obvious must-have as his strongest single target bleed, although Bleed Jester in my opinion is not a very useful niche, with the positional restrictions making you lose some of your much stronger mobile skills. This is however a fantastic upgrade and a must-equip against most bosses. Most bosses' size makes them an easy target of this skill, and with Slice Off you get OK damage, a dot, along with a Vaughn token. Outside of that, the skill mostly stays off your bar once you unlock stronger abilities. Battle Ballad is a buff, usable from the back 3 ranks to any hero in the back 3 ranks. It moves target hero forward 1 and gives them a strength token. On upgrade, it also has a 50% chance of applying crit, as well as removing combo. On paper, the unmastered version looks quite weak, with a naked strength token the only buff, but the utility on this skill is incredible. Being able to fix and or manipulate your team's positioning is a quite powerful ability. The best uses for this include things like pushing your Highwayman back into rank 1 to point blank with a newly acquired strength token, or moving your Ravager Hellion back in front after being knocked back. I do wish it could affect all 4 ranks because there's many times against a boss I'd like to apply a strength and potential crit token to my rank 1 hero, but can't. This is also a Jester finale enabler, since you can use it on yourself. Push yourself into the front 2 ranks with a strength token in tow. With Intermezzo, the skill becomes even more powerful, giving you a guaranteed extra positive token, although you will also bleed your ally. It's unaffected by the other paths. This skill can fit on most bars in most scenarios, especially prevalent against bosses. Inspiring Tune is the strongest single target stress heal in the game, usable from the back 2 ranks on any hero with at least 5 stress. It removes 2 stress at base, and 3 stress and horror on upgrade. This is the only skill that can remove horror on another hero. It does have a 1-turn cooldown. Intermezzo also gives this ability a 20% stress resist buff, along with the bleed, and is not affected by the other paths. Not a lot to say about this skill. It's an absolutely essential Jester ability, as even unupgraded, it pushes you from 5 stress down below the negative interaction threshold of 4, and can negate horror, a still somewhat niche affliction that is especially prominent against the Act 3 boss. There's basically never a reason not to have this on your bar in every fight, with every imaginable team comp facing any scenario. Harvest is an AoE bleed, usable from ranks 2 to 3 against 2 to 3, doing 2 to 4 damage, 3 to 4 on upgrade, 2 bleed, 3 on upgrade, and a 25% chance of a combo application, 33% on upgrade. Like Slice Off, the positional requirements on this skill are incredibly restrictive, and it's a much weaker skill than Slice Off. It basically does just enough damage to check Death's Door, as well as applying just enough bleed to check Death's Door again, but only against the middle 2 ranks. Pretty niche overall. Unlike his mobile skills, this only gives you a chance at combo application, which makes it entirely unreliable for combo-focused teams. It gets a small boost from Soloist, although Harvest already has the lowest crit of any Jester ability, 5% even when mastered, and isn't affected by any other paths. Really only equipable with Bleed Jester, who is already a niche build that is rarely if ever used. Harvest is unlocked at Jester's 2nd hero shrine. Finale is the Jester's single target Giga Nuke, usable from the front 2 ranks against any rank. It does base 6 to 12 damage, upgrading to 10 to 13. It has 10% crit, 20 on upgrade, moves you back to rank 4, dazes, and vulns you. Additionally, it does double damage if target is comboed. The cooldown is 2 turns. This is the highest potential nuke in the game, doing absurd damage if you can get combo on any enemy. Being usable against any enemy rank is an additional powerful benefit. Its damage is further boosted by Soloist, and it also applies a small bleed with Intermezzo and is unaffected by Virtuoso. The skill is usable in a number of scenarios. The standard option is to solo from the back into Finale, allowing you to apply a combo to your target, gain some sustain for after you use this, and move first in the next round, guaranteeing an opening round finale. In standard road fights, you can just start your Finale Jester in front rank to open nuke an enemy off the board. This is especially useful if you're running Soloist, as the speed debuff allows you to get another combo generator to apply a combo before your turn. You can also manually move yourself up with Razor's Wit as a sort of poor man's solo to enable the double Finale nuke. The cooldown is long enough that you cannot alternate solo and Finale. You must make a move in between. I like Mastered Encore. And you must be wary of the Vuln token after use, as Jester is already a rather fragile hero, especially with Soloist path. Of course, this skill requires a mobile team to enable, and doesn't allow you to take the Immobilized trophy, but otherwise is a great fit in most parties, as most DPS builds do. The skill is unlocked at Jester's 4th shrine. Solo is your Finale enabler, usable from the back 2 ranks against any rank. This moves you forward 3, gives you 2 dodge tokens, dodge plus on upgrade, a speed token, and combo. It has a 1-turn cooldown. The combo generation along with speed and dodge for sustain makes this a good equip for most Finale builds, although it is absolutely not necessary if you have a busy multi-role Jester that can't fit this on the bar. It does apply a bleed as well as on Intermezzo, and is unaffected by other paths, although it gains relative power on a slow path like Soloist because of the speed token generation. Without Finale, there's just never really a reason to equip this, although I've seen some players use this in conjunction with the Immobilized trophy to give you moderately spammable sustain and combo generation. Solo is unlocked at Jester's final hero shrine. Playout is the defensive version of Battle Ballad, usable from the back 3 ranks on your front 3 allies. It moves the target back 1 and gives them a block token. On upgrade, it gives a block plus and removes combo. In most scenarios, playing defensively is too slow and weak against most enemy mashes, and thus this is mostly inferior to Battle Ballad. This is most useful in moving back a shuffled fragile hero and blanketing them with block to protect them as they retreat. Like Ballad, it removes combo on upgrade, most useful in tackling the Exemplar. With Intermezzo, this becomes much stronger, giving the target an additional positive token along with the bleed. It's unaffected by his other paths. On most builds, I leave this off my bar, but if you're running a pure rank 4 buff bot, this is an essential skill and gains a lot of utility against the Act 3 boss, giving your observed enemies more sustain. It's unlocked at Jester's first hero shrine. Encore is arguably the best skill in the game, usable from the back 2 against any hero, but not yourself. It grants the hero an additional turn while dazing and weakening yourself. On upgrade, you do not get weakened. The cooldown is 3 turns, but on upgrade, only 2 turns. It does apply bleed to your hero on Intermezzo and is unaffected by any other path, although it's best on Virtuoso, giving you a speed boost to get this skill off earlier. The utility of this skill is off the charts. Exchanging the Jester's turn for a hero of your choosing can allow you to get extra heals if necessary, plot out a combo attack, force a slower hero to make the next move to take advantage of negative tokens on the enemy, or any number of scenarios. Giving yourself the flexibility to decide which hero will get an extra turn, and in what order, is almost always better than just the Jester getting their own turn. This is a priority upgrade to lower the cooldown, and I put it on every single Jester build in every single Jester party. I've yet to find a scenario where I don't want this on my bar. It's unlocked at Jester's final hero shrine. Echoing March is an extremely slow enemy debuff, usable from the back 2 ranks against the back 3 ranks. It's a non-damaging attack that pulls the enemy forward 1, 2 on upgrade. It also applies a 3-turn debuff, where on turn start the affected enemy will move forward 1, again 2 on upgrade. It has a 1-turn cooldown. This skill is extremely slow and niche. Doing a naked pull with no additional damage is almost always a waste of a turn with the wide array of skills the Jester has. Only a handful of enemies are crippled by being pulled out of position, and none so much that they require a full action to just pull them. With Intermezzo, it becomes slightly more usable, applying an initial 2-point bleed as well as an additional 2 points of bleed whenever the enemy is pulled forward. This can add up to acceptable damage, but again is unbelievably slow, and most enemies that you want to pull forward with this skill are low HP enough that hitting them directly rather than waiting for them to bleed out 2 points at a time is a superior play. It's unaffected by Jester's other paths. Despite gaining this buff on Intermezzo, I'm even less likely to play it on that path, given that with Intermezzo, you'll want to be running both Battle Ballad and Play Out, leaving essentially no room on your crowded bar. I've never found a build or team where I want to equip this garbage ability. I've only done it as a meme. It's unlocked at Jester's third shrine. Now, on to trinkets. Busker's Haul is the Solo Specialist trinket. Solo now gives a 50% chance at a crit token. You now give a hero a positive token at turn end when in rank 1, like after Solo, but your damage is nerfed 25% when under 25 relics. The relic requirement is actually quite strict, and quite damaging early game when you're spending most of your relics as you get them. I find this mostly a late game equip when I'm comfortable with my inventory and have relics to spare. The bigger problem in my opinion is the crit chance is only 50%, making this trinket quite bad if it doesn't connect. Something like Swig is much better, although more expensive. It's also unequipable on any Jester build that isn't solo finale spam, but it's still worth a slot if that's the Jester you're running. Royal Summons gives you a 10% chance of a crit token when moving, which is about half your skills. Play Out removes a negative token, and if you land in rank 4, you now gain Taunt. There are a few ways to play this trinket. With a solo finale type build, it's sort of a poor man's Busker, giving you a 10% crit chance on both abilities. The solo finale build allows you to accumulate dodge tokens, so you can become sort of a pseudo tank when you finale back to rank 4 and get your taunt token. On a standard movement Jester where you alternate wit and fade, this will occasionally aid the relatively weaker attacks with a crit. The only concern with this build is you don't want your Jester to get taunted in rank 4, although upgraded wit does give you a solitary dodge token, so you want to alternate ranks 2 to 3, which is relatively weaker. You can also ignore the moving crit and become a rank 3, not 4 because of the taunt, buff bot, utilizing Play Out to destroy negative tokens. The broad utility is great, although the taunt is stubbornly annoying to play around and the effects are not quite strong enough to make up for it. Mostly a transitional equip while you try to find something better. Severed Finger gives an additional 25% damage against a bleeding target. Slice Off does 33% more bleed damage, and you also receive 33% more bleed damage. This is usable in a couple different ways. You can obviously sit back and play Bleed Jester, slowly accumulating more and more bleed damage with Slice Off spam, taking advantage of the Vaughn tokens on upgrade potentially as well. Alternatively, you can run a Finale build, which is much easier to do if you have other sources of bleed instead of having to bleed, move forward, and Finale all yourself. Either way, this is a fantastic trinket for a Soloist Jester. It also has its uses for Intermezzo, as your solo ability now applies a bleed, allowing you to solo Finale spam with a bigger damage boost than raw Soloist. Even when not doing pure bleed build, this is a pretty nice equip for Slice Off spam against certain mashes. The extra bleed gained is concerning with Jester's health pool, but I can fit this on most builds and it stays relevant for most of the game. Now, on to deeper discussion of Jester's 3 paths and what skills and trinkets to use with them, and what team comps they work best with. Virtuoso is a path which gives universal benefits, so we'll use this space mostly to discuss my 2 mostly universal Jester builds, the Buff Bot and the Combo Bot. With Virtuoso Speed, Buff Bot is my preferred Jester strategy, sitting in rank 4 and controlling the action. This is doubly beneficial because of how rare quality rank 4 heroes are. There are 4 buff style abilities that are equipable on Jester: Encore, Inspiring Tune, Battle Ballad, and Play Out. For the most part, you're always opening with Encore unless you either need to stress heal or fix positioning with one of the other buffs. If you equip all 4 buffs, then your 4th slot should go to either Fade to Black or Finale in order to fix positioning if you get shuffled up. The other skills are entirely worthless on this build. Alternatively, you can dump Play Out if you want to also add solo Finale to your bar. This is preferable to me. Having a big nuke in your back pocket is much stronger than Play Out for the most part. The other build you can do on Virtuoso is Plant in rank 3 and utilize a mix of buffs and combo generators. On this build I put both Razor's Writ and Fade to Black to enable combos and full movement. Inspiring Tune and Encore go on almost every Jester build. With the speed, I like putting Slice Off on my bar once it's upgraded to get my Vaughn up early. Even unupgraded, Slice Off is a pretty solid damage. Battle Ballad is the only skill that competes with it for utility. For trinkets, more sustain is always welcome. With the Virtuoso Speed, you enable some trinkets like Enlightening Element and Snappy Swig. Of course, with Snappy Swig you can enable an incredible Finale build along with your normal buffs. Alternatively, with any of the HP trinkets you can forgo damage entirely and build a beefy rank 4 build. Virtuoso works great in any party since he can plant in rank 4 and is also extremely effective in mobile comps, especially with his movement buffs. Definitely the most flexible and strongest Jester path. Soloist can be played either in a solo Finale build or a bleed build. The Finale build actually takes advantage of your lower speed, allowing you to solo last, apply your combo token, and then move first in the next round in order to nuke your target. This play is almost identical to your Virtuoso Jester Finale build, so solo Finale, Encore, Inspiring Tune, and Battle Ballad. With Soloist, however, because of your speed, if you have another combo generating hero, you can actually start Jester in the front rank and utilize a turn 1 Finale to take a piece off the board immediately. Soloist is the one path where Bleed Jester is actually relevant. With extra crit, application, and damage, planting yourself in 3 is a strong option on Soloist. For this build you obviously want Slice Off, your strongest bleed attack with the highest crit chance. As with every Jester build, you want both Inspiring Tune and Encore. The final 2 skills, you can go in a couple different directions. You could set up solo and Finale to finish off a fight. The problem with this is once you Finale, you're stuck in rank 4 with no way to utilize bleed. The better option is to put both Finale and Razor's Wit on your bar. Wit is universally useful with this path, letting you put yourself back in rank 4 if you're pushed back. You can also use it to slide into rank 2. While not as powerful as solo, this is an acceptable way to set up a Finale. For trinkets, speed is always welcome, although unfortunately lesser speed trinkets will also sap your already shoddy HP. With Bleed Jester, ideally you pair him with some other bleed and head to the Shroud to pick up bleed trinkets and the Leviathan trophy. Otherwise, trying to find straight damage is your best bet to run a Finale build. Soloist is a pretty strong fit in any party. As a Finale build, he can chill in rank 4, as long as your frontline heroes are not required to be in rank 1 like Ravager. Alternatively, you run him in rank 3 as a bleed build, usually with a PD in back for a strong HP stress heal combo. Unfortunately, I do not use this path a lot since the nerf, since the damage isn't quite strong enough to make up for the absurd HP drop. Finally, we have another buff bot build, Intermezzo Jester. This path plays exactly like rank 4 buff bot Virtuoso build. However, Playout gets a very strong buff for this path and has a much more acceptable equip. Echoing March is arguably equipable with this build as your 5th skill, although I still like something to fix your positioning. The Finale build is pretty good too, since your song skills now apply bleed. Since you don't get speed with this path, those are some of my favorite trinkets to find, and since you don't have an HP debuff, most are equipable. This build, like Virtuoso, fits with any team, but you really want to pair it with a PD or runaway to clear those bleed dots inflicted by Intermezzo. It's still mostly a less useful Virtuoso without the speed and HP, unfortunately. A random token on your buff skills is nice, but not game-changing. Overall, the Jester is an incredibly versatile hero, offering the best stress heal in the game, along with arguably the best overall skill in the game, Encore. He can be built in several different ways, from buff bot, to movement utility, to single target nuker, to dot build. Virtuoso is among the best paths in the game, and he fits in with every party. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. I post new videos every day.